let's start with Tuesday's Telegraph.
Yes, they've got that headline, Reeves tax rises are milking us, say bosses. She's got her little stool out, she's got her fists on her udders, and she's pumping away. She actually looks like the guy from Kingpin. Have you seen that film Kingpin, the Amish guy who goes out to milk the cow, and he brings back a big bucket of milk, and he's drinking from the milk, and he's like, I milked your cow. And they're like, we don't have a cow, we've got a bull.
So you've done well to fill a pail with it.
Leo, this is on at 5 o'clock.
That's more like a yacht
in the morning.
I think Rachel Reeves has got the same wrist technique. The British leaders certainly think she's been a bit brisk with their tackle. They say that the various tax rises that she's levied on businesses, including the minimum wage going up, which is effectively a tax for them. National insurance increases, all the rest of it. They're making business uncompetitive, and it means they're going to have to cut back in hiring, and it'll affect profits, which then affects, people think, oh, it's just big business. No, we've all got stakes in these businesses through our pension funds, through whatever it is.
I don't have a pension fund.
All right, well,
I think she made herself a sausage to fortune, didn't she, really, by saying that she wasn't going to increase taxes on working people, on any taxes on individual people, and so actually what the taxes she's had to introduce probably been far more crippling to the prospects of ordinary working people than if she just put a penny on income tax.
Yeah.
In truth.
Yes, exactly. It's like direct taxes, indirect taxes. It's like taxes.
Yeah.
I mean, if this is why this headline, I know it's in the Daily Telegraph, but it says taxes rises are milking us, says bosses. But you're totally right. It's affecting everybody. It's like there's only so much money in a pot, and if they're taking 50%, that means.
But you know what bosses are like. They'll take this hit. They won't try and distribute it amongst the working poor. They won't try and socialise their costs and privatise their profits.
What? You don't think that they're not doing it now? You don't think they're trying to save every little penny that they have? And if they get 10% more, then this is what they're going to do.
Let's have a very quick look at the new BBC all-female Spotty team sheet. It says Spotty being sports personality.
Is that what I thought that was the new Jaguar advert.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, it's a pretty atrocious lineup, isn't it? Gary Lineker has gone, and you've been left.
That's the only improvement.
Claire Balding, Gabby Roslin, and that is Alex Scott.
Right.
She is absolutely sporting a pretty Jaguar ad style. What do you think audience viewers will plummet, or have we become numbed?
I don't think stuff like this matters anymore. I mean, maybe in the old days, when we didn't have access to social media, we didn't have constant celebrities in our face all the time. It mattered. You got to see them in a different environment than on a football pitch or in a Hollywood film. Now we see them all the time. So who cares about award ceremonies? But
I will say I quite like Sports Personality of the Year, but although it very rarely goes to a personality, it usually just goes to a statistical achievement, doesn't it? So, it can be somebody like a rower or something who famously have their personalities extracted to keep the weight down.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see it go to Chris Hoy this year. What do you think? Do you think he's in with a shout?
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, it's got to be. Really.
Yeah, there's a man who's shown a bit of guts and courage in the final straight. Lewis is off the speed.
I don't know any sports person. How about Eze from Crystal Palace?
Unlikely. Never know. Do you have anything to say about the single women undergoing IVF?
Well, can I say something about it?
Yeah, go for it.
I mean, because I'm quite familiar with single women. And I know of IVF, and it's just tripling. It's going up and down. Because women were sold a bill of goods. I just got to be careful here. They've been sold a bill of goods. They can have everything. So let's wait. Next thing you know, they're 35 years old, and they don't have a husband. It's like what? It's like...
It is true, though, IVF, although obviously it is mostly used, I'm sure, on this statistic will represent the number of women who have waited a bit too long, and obviously it's not so easy to get pregnant by traditional means. But IVF also has the advantage that you have a range of 16 embryos to pick from, and there are certain genetic clusters which is becoming legal to say, it used to be just like certain, degenerative diseases or whatever. Obviously, nobody would quarrel. Yeah. But sooner or later, it's going to be, can I have the tall, blonde, blue-eyed one with the good teeth and the
Because I never want him to get a job in an advert.
But the truth is they pick women based on genetics often.
Of course,
Of
absolutely.
course. So what is the difference?
People who pay £250,000 to put their kids through private school. You don't think they're going to pay 10 grand to pick out a good embryo?
Yeah, or just even look at the guy and say, no, you're not for me, Lewis.
The Daily Express, Leo, have got the body language experts out. This can only mean one thing. Keir is on the couch.
That's right, not the psychiatrist's couch, although that might be a good place for him soon. So Keir Starmer was in shock and had no words over election petition, says expert. This is Keir Starmer. He was on ITV's This Morning with Kat Deely and Andy Peters to discuss, they raised the petition. There's this petition that's been going around. It's got over 2 million signatures. It's an official government petition, and I think over 100,000 signatures, and it has to be debated in Parliament or raised in Parliament. Obviously, it's not going to result in a general election, but it's calling for a general election. So they've got a body language expert, Darren Stanton, who says Starmer often finds difficulty in hiding how he's feeling when he doesn't know how to respond. But how do you do Starmer's body language? Like, the man's like a plank of wood.
Yes.
How would you? Like they say, the guy says, he's blinking rapidly. So that's the only animated part of his face.
More like a slightly malfunctioning Dalek. It's like saying, don't judge a book by its cover, but you're looking at like a box file. You know, just like a kind of... I don't know how I feel about this petition. I'm slightly torn because on the one hand, I do think it's probably quite a good way of allowing millions of people clearly feel strongly that Starmer has already gone wildly off track.
Yeah.
You know, they were told they believed that the Labour Party would be a relief after 14 years of dismal Tory rule. In fact, they're worse. On the other hand, it is all a bit like, can we have another vote on Brexit? Can we have another go? You know, you were like, well, we had a general election. You had your chance. You probably voted reform or just sat at home because you felt the Tories had let you down. And this is what you get.
Exactly. I mean, we don't know who those people are filling out the petition.
No.
And they could just be Tory voters or Reform voters or Lib Dem. So it's kind of meaningless until you get over 50% of the whatever. Until you get like 25, 40 million people, it doesn't mean anything. And so,
having said that, 2 million is quite a lot in like 4 days or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it is really quick. You know, that is.
Yeah, because how many people voted for Labour? It's about 8 or 9 million, I believe, in the general election. So 2 million is a big chunk of that. And this
gets up to 8 million.
No, I don't think so. All they got to do is press a little button on a thing and sign your name in there.
It's nice to feel that he's hated. I think that's the important thing. Reverse engineering now at Nottingham University, but sadly this is not a useful STEM discipline to steal industrial secrets without resorting to espionage. It is the usual old grumble about ill-gotten gains funding academia.
Yeah. And this is Nottingham University, which is basically getting the guy who's given the most money to the entire place. He's dead, but his family, and they're saying we're going to start changing the buildings. I don't think there's any more money coming in from this guy. That's why they want to change it.
Yeah.
Change it. And so he's saying he may not have any of the money that came from slavery, but he has something called social capital, which I'm not sure what that means. What social capital means? He maybe has a nice suit.
The kind of thing you get from just having your tie nicely knotted.
You know what? Yeah, they could say because I'm a white man or something. I was.
So he was born. The late Duke. He was born William Arthur Henry Cavendish Bentinck. He was born 1893, almost 60 years after the abolition of slavery in Britain.
Yeah, that was done by then British people basically fought to outlaw.
Absolutely. We spent a fortune. We spent like our entire annual budget on it or something, I think, one year, didn't we? It was extraordinarily
to pay
generous.
off people to make them stop and ask them to stop.
The absence of gratitude on the world stage is absolutely gobsmacking.
And maybe some of those people, I don't want to say what I'm...
Well, this is the thing, never do any good. I mean, this guy helped set up Nottingham University, and this is how they reward him. This is how they reward his name, by accusing him of profiting from slavery when he was born after slavery was abolished. It's disgusting.
And he's dead now.
And he's dead, and his family, say they didn't make money from slavery. This is a disgusting slur on the family. I think Nottingham, I mean, thank God it's just Nottingham University. It's not a proper university.
Yeah, I'm very glad I didn't go there. It was on my list, but I decided to exclude it. And I had something in my gut, and I realise now what it was. I was right.
Yeah.
Racist trash time now, Leo, as a cheerfully illustrated new picture book for preschoolers tells them that white men invented race. That's 3 scare quotes in a row.
So Outrage's controversial children's book, Our Skin, blames white men for introducing the idea that thin is beautiful, and also inventing the idea of race. So they say, a long time ago, way before you were born, this is a quote from the book, a group of white people made up an idea called race. So they're white, but they invented race. How can they be white if they invented race? The word white is a race. You know what I mean? So these people, I mean, also, is there anything white people didn't invent? That's what I've got to ask.
I hope the 5-year-olds spot the logical flaw in
it's absolute nonsense. But then they go on and they say it wasn't just they didn't just invent race. They also invented this idea that some women are more attractive than others. So they say a group of white men started making up lots of ideas about bodies that weren't true. They said that one kind of body was the best and that being fat was bad and being skinny was good. This is actually 100% true. I was one of these men. I was at that meeting.
Well, that's interesting because I regard the prevalence of very skinny models at the higher echelons of fashion as being essentially a gay man thing.
Yeah.
I think most men like a little bit of meat on a woman, don't they?
Yeah,
I mean,
no, but
it's slightly different. I mean, I wouldn't put it those ways in a 5-year-old book.
But this isn't talking about, runway models. This is talking about women who are attractive,
healthy weight.
Yeah, sort of Miss Universe type.
Well, I have seen the picture of the 3 authoresses, and they look pretty much exactly as you might expect.
Are they monsters? And also, I mean, it's kind of true. Like different cultures do have different predilections for body size.
Many cultures, and indeed in Britain a few hundred years ago, a little bit more fat was considered to be a good sign that you you had access to the higher table, right?
I think skinny is basically, it's called neoteny.
Neoteny, is that right? What, looking like a very small thing, like an embryo?
Yeah, looking like a small thing rather than a big thing.
Okay.
So I'm not saying whether... It just, I think I feel great for these 3 women because they've made the Daily Mail. They're being read by hundreds of thousands of people.
I had a look at it on Amazon. It is selling well, and it's got a load of 5-star reviews and then a load of 1-star reviews going, this is absolutely dreadful, racist drivel. I haven't pulled that Amazon would even sell it.